and welcome to Sports 360, your one-stop destination of all big sporting events across the globe. Here you will get an exact analysis, information and interaction with India's top athletes. The biggest contingent of Indian players will participate in Tokyo Olympics. India has many medal contenders in badminton, boxing, wrestling and shooting. PM Modi interacts with India's Tokyo-born athletes, motivating them ahead of the games, tells them they are the reflection of new India, must not take stress and must focus on giving their best performance. With Tokyo Olympics and Paralympics fast approaching, the Japanese authorities have declared a state of emergency in capital. Olympic events in Tokyo will take place without any spectators at all. Meanwhile, in football, Italy continued their 34-match winning streak as they defeated England in the final of the European Championship that went into the penalty shootout after a 1-1 scoreline in extra time at the Wembley Stadium in London. And apart from this, we also have our regular segments, Goal of the Week, Player of the Week and the Sporting Moments of the Week. But first up, the cover story we are tracking this week. India has left no stone unturned in its preparation to scale new heights of success in the upcoming mega sporting extravaganza. All efforts have been made to ensure our athletes bring maximum number of medals. This time, with the ever strongest contingent, we bring you a special report with a roundup of India at the Tokyo Olympics.
The Tokyo Olympic-bound team of Indian athletes has left no stone unturned in its preparation to scale new heights of success in the upcoming mega sporting extravaganza. This time, Indian athletes have been provided high-level training in the country and abroad in the guidance of reputed coaches. All efforts have been made to ensure that these athletes bring the maximum number of medals for the country. A total of 126 athletes across 18 sporting disciplines from India will be heading to Tokyo. This is the biggest ever contingent India is sending to any Olympics. The 69 cumulative events across 18 sporting disciplines that India will participate in is also the highest ever for the country. The first batch of India's Olympic-bound athletes will depart for Tokyo on July 17th. The top contenders for medals in Tokyo Olympics are badminton player PV Sindhu, boxers MC Mary Kom and Amit Panghal, wrestlers Bajrang Punia and Vinesh Phogat, Neeraj Chopra in javelin throw, Manu Bhaker in shooting. Moreover, Indian men's hockey team is a prominent contender for medals in Tokyo Olympics. From 1900 to 2016, India has bagged 28 Olympic medals, which include 9 gold, 7 silver and 12 bronze medals. So far, India has won the maximum number of medals in hockey. Indian hockey team has won 11 medals in Olympics, which include 8 gold, 1 silver and 2 bronze medals. Apart from this, India has won 4 medals in shooting, 5 in wrestling, 2 each in badminton and boxing, and 1 medal each in tennis and weightlifting. The 1952 Helsinki Olympics is very special for India. That year, Khashaba Dadasaheb Jadhav won the first individual medal for India. Jadhav won the bronze medal in the freestyle 57 kg category of wrestling. In terms of the number of medals, the 2012 London Olympics have been the most successful for India so far. India bagged 1 silver medal and 4 bronze medals in 2012. Sushil Kumar in wrestling and Vijay Kumar in shooting won silver medals for India that year. Apart from this, MC Mary Kom in boxing, Saina Nehwal in badminton, Yogeshwar Dutt in wrestling and Gagan Narang won bronze medals in shooting. India's performance in the last Rio Olympics was disappointing and India had to be content with only 1 silver medal and 1 bronze medal. PV Sindhu won a silver medal for India in badminton and Sakshi Malik won a bronze medal in wrestling. This year, India is a strong contender for medals in badminton, wrestling, boxing and shooting. Sports Desk, DD India.
Ahead Ahead of the Tokyo Games, Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacted with the Indian athletes bound for Tokyo, and he interacted with their families as well. He underscored the first for India this time, saying for the first time such a large number of players have qualified for the Olympics from India, and there are many sports in which India has qualified for the first time. While urging the countrymen to continue their cheer for India, PM shared a winning mantra with the players: don't take stress and stay focused on giving their best performance.
देश का झंडा लेकर जाते हैं, इसलिए ये देश का दायित्व है कि आपके साथ डटकर खड़ा रहे। आप में एक कॉमन फैक्टर दिख रहा है, डिसिप्लिन, डेडिकेशन और डिटर्मिनेशन। आप में कमिटमेंट भी है, कॉम्पिटिटिवनेस भी है। यही क्वालिटीज न्यू इंडिया की भी, इसलिए आप सब न्यू इंडिया के रिफ्लेक्शन हैं।
Indian athletes are all set to bring back laurels from the Tokyo Olympics. In a send-off to remember, Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacted with 15 players who are part of the Olympic contingent via video conferencing. Sharing words of encouragement, the Prime Minister said that his government is committed to strengthening the sporting spirit and providing all possible support to the athletes and players.
जैसे खेल के मैदान में मेहनत के साथ सही स्ट्रेटेजी जुड़ जाती है तो जीत पक्की हो जाती है। यही बात ग्राउंड के बाहर भी लागू होती है। देश ने खेलो इंडिया और फिट इंडिया जैसे अभियान चलाकर मिशन मोड में सही स्ट्रेटेजी से काम किया, तो परिणाम भी आप देख रहे हैं। पहली बार इतनी बड़ी संख्या में खिलाड़ियों ने ओलंपिक के लिए क्वालिफाई किया है। कई खेल ऐसे हैं जिनमें भारत ने पहली बार क्वालिफाई किया है। साथियों, हमारे यहां कहा जाता है, अभ्यासात जायते नृणाम द्वितीया प्रकृति ही, अर्थात हम जैसा अभ्यास करते हैं, जैसा प्रयास करते हैं, धीरे धीरे वो हमारे स्वभाव का हिस्सा हो जाता है।
Elaborating on the challenges posed by COVID-19, the Prime Minister lauded the players and athletes for their dedication and hard work. He urged the nation to recognize their sacrifices and cheer for India. He described India's Olympic contingent as the face of new India and an inspiration for one and all.
आपको और देश के युवाओं का जोश देखकर ये कह सकता हूं कि वो दिन दूर नहीं जब जीतना ही न्यू इंडिया की आदत बन जाएगी। और अभी तो ये शुरुआत है। आप टोक्यो जाकर जब देश का परचम लहराएंगे तो उसी पूरी दुनिया देखेगी। हां, ये बात जरूर याद रखना है कि जीतने का प्रेशर लेकर नहीं खेलना है। अपने दिल दिमाग को बस एक ही बात कहिए कि मुझे अपना बेस्ट परफॉर्म करना है।
Since 2014, the goal has been to enhance the performance of players. Results of this are visible across several international arenas. For the first time, a total of 126 athletes across 18 sporting disciplines from India will be heading to the Tokyo Olympics, showcasing the true spirit of sports of New India.
आप में से कोई दक्षिण से हैं, कोई उत्तर से हैं, कोई पूरब से हैं, तो कोई पूर्वोत्तर से हैं, लेकिन अब आप सब यहां टीम इंडिया का हिस्सा है। आप सब देश के लिए खेलने जा रहे हैं। यही डायवर्सिटी, यही टीम स्पिरिट ही एक भारत श्रेष्ठ भारत की पहचान है। साथियों, आप सब इस बात के साक्षी हैं कि देश किस तरह आज एक नई सोच, नई अप्रोच के साथ अपने हर खिलाड़ी के लिए साथ खड़ा है।
Prime Minister Modi expressed regret at not being able to meet the contingent in person because of COVID-19, assuring the athletes that he would welcome them back in person. Bureau Report, DD India.
Ananya Birla and A.R. Rahman's special song and the official one for the upcoming Tokyo Olympics will bring you energy and into the sporting zone. The song was launched by Union Sports Minister Anurag Singh Thakur. More in this report.
The Indian contingent for Tokyo Olympics 2020 is the biggest ever sent by India. 126 athletes will be competing in 18 disciplines. After PM interacted with many players, there is more to encourage and motivate them. Oscar winner and music maestro A.R. Rahman has teamed up with young singer Ananya Birla to create a master song to cheer the Indian athletes as they gun for glory in Tokyo. Hindustani Way will add more punch, excitement and a sense of purpose to the team going to Tokyo. Union Minister for Youth Affairs and Sports Anurag Thakur launched the Cheer for India song of the country's Olympic contingent and urged the public to wholeheartedly rally behind its athletes during the Tokyo Games.
मुझे पूर्ण विश्वास हम सब लोग इसको सुनेंगे भी, एंजॉय भी करेंगे और शेयर भी करेंगे चीयर फॉर इंडिया, क्योंकि अगर देश के प्रधानमंत्री चीयर फॉर इंडिया कैंपेन लॉन्च करते हैं, अपने कीमती समय में से एक बार नहीं कई बार खिलाड़ियों से बात करते हैं। देश के प्रधानमंत्री अगर खेलों को प्रोत्साहन देने के लिए कई साल पहले टारगेट ओलंपिक पोडियम स्कीम का निर्माण करते हैं, उसको लाते हैं और खिलाड़ियों को हर सुविधा देने का प्रयास करते हैं, आपका ये गाना ना केवल मनोरंजन देगा बल्कि मुझे पूर्ण विश्वास है हमारे खिलाड़ियों का उत्साह भी बढ़ाएगा और खिलाड़ियों का उत्साह बढ़ाएगा, मनोबल बढ़ाएगा, वहीं पर हम सबको मौका देगा चीयर फॉर इंडिया करने के लिए। So let us all come together and cheer for India.
Rahman said that the performances of the players and their passion for the game helped them to compose the song.
When you're going to something like Olympics, it's an international event, and we have to find a balance to present ourselves in a way where the whole world can see us, and the music needed to be like that. I think Ananya has that voice which could be like spearheading and cheering. At the same time, there is love, compassion, there is a sense of happiness throughout.
The uplifting track has been penned down jointly by Ananya Birla, Nirmika Singh and Shishir Samant, and the lyrics are all motivation, hope and confidence. The song seems to be a joint prayer by 130 crore Indians to each and every team member. Sports Desk, DD India.
Olympic host city Tokyo entered a fresh state of emergency ahead of the Games. Japan last week announced that the spectators would be banned from nearly all venues. Spectators from abroad had been banned months ago, and officials are now asking residents to watch on TV. Recent rises in Tokyo have been particularly worrisome amid the vaccination rollout that our government off to a slow start and has faced supply of glitches after speeding up.
Japan's capital Tokyo officially entered the fourth state of emergency on Monday due to surging cases of COVID-19. This came just 3 weeks after Tokyo lifted its third state of emergency. The reimposition of the state of emergency will inevitably affect the upcoming Tokyo Olympics. The proportion of events playing in empty stadiums will now reach 97%. The Japanese government initially barred only overseas spectators from entering stadiums to watch the games, and then revised the decision of holding most competitions without audience. Japanese domestic public opinions held that the government's rush to lift the third state of emergency in Tokyo was for the sake of paving way for the Olympic Games. But several members of the Japanese anti-epidemic expert team lodged opposition to the decision and warned that the epidemic situation in the greater Tokyo area could deteriorate in July. Now the experts' worries have become a reality. The Games were postponed last year because of the pandemic and will run from July 23rd to August 8th, while the state of emergency will last till August 22. Recent rises in the cases in Tokyo have been particularly worrisome. Only about 28% of the city's population has received at least one shot of a COVID-19 vaccine. Meanwhile, police officers and guards have carried out a security sweep of the Tokyo 2020 Media Center ahead of a formal opening to thousands of journalists the next day. Roughly 6,000 media workers will call the Tokyo 2020 main press center home during the Games. Bureau Report, DD India.
Yashpal Sharma, member of India's 1983 World Cup winning side, has died after a cardiac arrest. Sharma was 66, a middle-order batter. He played 37 tests and 42 ODIs for India between 1970 and 85. He was the second highest run getter in India's historic 1983 triumph, scoring 2 half-centuries and 89 in India's win over West Indies in group stage and 61 in the semi-final against England.
Former Indian middle-order batsman Yashpal Sharma, who was also a member of the Kapil Dev-led World Cup winning team, passed away on Tuesday after suffering a cardiac arrest. He was 66. In the 1983 World Cup, he was the top scorer for India in the semi-final against England, where he scored 61 runs and was involved in a match-winning 92-run stand with Mohinder Amarnath for the third wicket, followed by another 63-run partnership for the fourth wicket with Sandeep Patil. Yashpal had got India off to a brilliant start in the 1983 World Cup as he scored a match-winning 89 against the West Indies in what was India's first match of the showpiece event. President Ram Nath Kovind offered his condolences on the demise of cricketer Yashpal Sharma. He tweeted, "Sad to hear about the demise of cricketer Yashpal Sharma. His remarkable performances during the key matches in 1983 Cricket World Cup played a crucial role in one of India's greatest triumphs in cricketing history. My deepest condolences to his family, followers and team members." Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressed grief on the demise of Yashpal Sharma. He tweeted, "Shri Yashpal Sharma ji was a much beloved member of the Indian cricket team, including the legendary 1983 squad. He was an inspiration for teammates, fans, as well as budding cricketers. Anguished by his passing away. Condolences to his family and admirers. Om Shanti." Union Sports Minister Anurag Thakur also condoled the demise of former Indian cricketer Yashpal Sharma. He tweeted, "Saddened by the passing away of ace cricketer and 1983 World Cup winning member Shri Yashpal Sharma. He had an illustrious career and was India's second highest run getter at the 1983 World Cup. He was also an umpire and a national selector. His contribution won't be forgotten. Om Shanti." In his first-class career that spanned nearly 2 decades, Sharma scored 8,933 runs with 21 centuries and 46 half-centuries. He served as a national selector across 2 stints, first from 2004 to 2005 and later from 2008 to 2011. He was part of the committee that picked India's 2011 World Cup winning squad. Sports Desk, DD India.
Italy wrecked England's Euro 2020 party at Wembley, winning the final on penalties to plunge the host nation into despair and increase their 55-year wait to win a major title. Roberto Mancini's men recovered from the shock of conceding the quickest goal ever in the European Championship final to equalize and held their nerve to claim a 3-2 shootout victory. Here is a detailed report bringing you an insight of the Euro 2020 final.
England's long wait for a major trophy goes on after Gareth Southgate's side saw their Euro 2020 dreams end in a heartbreaking penalty shootout defeat to Italy. The nation was at a standstill for the Three Lions' biggest match in 55 years and Luke Shaw's early stunner at a rocking Wembley had fans dreaming that football would be coming home rather than going to Rome. But Italy wrested control of Sunday's final and deservedly leveled through Leonardo Bonucci, with the match going to extra time and on to spot kicks after it ended 1-1. And after a tense period of extra time failed to find a winner, it was on to penalties, and bitter disappointment for England manager Gareth Southgate and his players, who had gone into this final on a wave of expectation and high emotion. England missed 3 of their 5 penalties, Marcus Rashford hitting a post and Gianluigi Donnarumma denying Jadon Sancho before so cruelly for such a fine young player. Arsenal teenager Bukayo Saka also saw the giant Italy goalkeeper save his spot kick. Harry Kane and Harry Maguire scored for England, but while Pickford kept hopes alive with saves from Andrea Bellotti and Jorginho, Domenico Berardi, Bonucci and Federico scored for Italy. England's loss will be felt deeply after such impressive progress through the knockout stage with wins against Germany, Ukraine and Denmark. Southgate must now digest whether he got it right in the final when it came to his approach, substitutions and penalty takers, but when the dust settles, England can reflect on progress made. England's loss will be felt deeply after such impressive progress through the knockout stage with wins against Germany, Ukraine and Denmark. Southgate must now digest whether he got it right in the final when it came to his approach, substitutions and penalty takers, but when the dust settles, England will have to reflect on the progress made so far. Sports Desk, DD India.
In the final of the Euro 2020, Leonardo Bonucci leveled for Italy in the 67th minute that put the match in the extra time. And this is Sports 360 Goal of the Week. Meanwhile, Italy goalkeeper Gianluigi Donnarumma claimed the Player of the Tournament award at the Euro 2020. Donnarumma starred in a second consecutive penalty shootout as Italy beat England 3-2 on spot kicks, and he is Sports 360 Player of the Week. Italy continued their 34-match winning streak as they defeated England in the final of the UEFA European Championship that went into a penalty shootout after a 1-1 scoreline after extra time at the Wembley Stadium in London. And Italy's Sports 360 Team of the Week. The UK Prime Minister and the Football Association have condemned the racist abuse aimed at England's Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford and Bukayo Saka after the Euro 2020 final defeat by Italy. All 3 players missed the penalties in the 3-2 shootout loss and were targeted on the social media after the game.
3 England players who missed penalty kicks against Italy in the Euro 2020 final were subjected to racial abuse online. The English Football Association has issued a statement condemning the language used against the players. The teams drew the game 1-1 after extra time, and Italy went on to win the shootout 3-2. The UK Prime Minister and the Football Association have condemned racist abuse aimed at England's Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford and Bukayo Saka. All three players missed penalties in the 3-2 shootout loss and were targeted on social media after the game. In its official statement, the Football Association said it was appalled by the abuse of three players. The team had taken a knee before the beginning of the games at the European Championship to extend its support for an end to racial inequality. It further stated that the young and multi-ethnic English squad has won the hearts of the fans before failing to win the title. Rashford highlighted racial abuse he received on social media in May after losing the Europa League final with Manchester United. And last year, Sancho was among sports stars protesting against racism following the murder of George Floyd by a police officer in Minneapolis. Social media companies have been criticized for a perceived lack of action on racist abuse on their platforms. And in the month of April, Instagram announced a tool to enable users to automatically filter out abusive messages from those they do not follow. Following numerous instances of online abuse, a number of clubs, players, athletes and sporting bodies took part in a 4-day boycott of social media in the month of April to encourage companies to take a stronger stance against racist and sexist abuse. Sports Desk, TD India.
And that's all in this edition of Sports 360. Before we wrap up, we leave you with these best sporting moments of the week. Namaskar.